Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today, very proud to be opening another piece of brand new Macintosh. This MA5300 is just arrived, literally arrived today here in Christchurch. This brand new entry-level integrated amplifier from Macintosh shares all of the sound of Macintosh that we know and love, but is in a small form factor and a relatively low wattage. It's about 100 watts a channel. You'll see it's beautifully made, but most importantly, it features Macintosh's brand new digital module. I think it's called a D1 or something like that, and that module is now featured in all of their integrated amplifiers all the way up the food chain. Stunning user friendliness, stunning sound quality, stunning build quality. This is a beautiful piece, so let's have a look. Right, Macintosh. The packaging is always elaborate. This is double boxed. So the box itself is far larger than the product inside. It has model and serial number information on all sides. So it really doesn't matter how we might stack this in a warehouse, we're going to be able to see and quickly identify it. The top of the box, and you'll start to see how big this thing is sealed with Macintosh's factory tape. The bottom is sealed with massive staples, ensuring that this carton is held together for transport. Opening it is really easy because I know it's double boxed inside. I can be perhaps a little bit aggressive with the craft knife, knowing that it's never really going to come to any problem. Opening is very straightforward, and as we fold these open, we get to see the product sitting in the box inside. This is suspended inside some closed cell foam, so it's up to me now to lift this out. Now it's heavy. This is really heavy. Although it's only a small amplifier in Macintosh's scale, it's extremely heavy in the grand scheme of things. Removing this closed cell foam is very straightforward. It simply sits in place. It relies on the weight of the amplifier to keep it stable within its larger packaging box. So those four corners reveals the inner box. Again, much smaller and much more in tune with the amplifier's physical size as we drill down into this. Now, the labelling is model and serial number only on the top. Okay? Everything else is relatively muted. And you will see it's sealed with Macintosh tape. Cutting that open is very straightforward. A simple slice, and it opens this flap. Now, from this point, you sort of unfold it. The amplifier is very heavy, and it's not just sort of plonked inside a box. You'll see how I slide this out. But the first thing we're going to do is take away a layer of cardboard and start having a look. This cardboard is actually folded and trimmed to line up brilliantly with an edge of the front panel of the amplifier and help lock this into the packaging so it cannot move. As we look in, the first thing we see from an accessory perspective is its remote control. The remote control is in a bubble bag with a set of AAA batteries and Macintosh's modern remote control. Slimline, lightweight, lovely feel, lovely steel look trim, beautiful little piece. This will actually operate a number of Macintosh's devices. Okay. Bubble bag. Next is the Macintosh Owner's Manual, multi-page. I can't remember if this is 30 or 40 pages, it's quite a few, and it goes into all details about this product and input selection, setup, you name it. Very straightforward. It has Macintosh's tool key for the binding posts. This allows you to add a little bit of pressure and tightness if you're using bare wires, and of course tighten them up a little bit tighter than fingertip tightness if required as well. We've also got a large, good quality IEC power cord. This is a New Zealand plug, and it's good to see it's fit for purpose here. Right, now the next is a little bit more of a challenge because the amplifier is now quite difficult to get out of its larger box, mainly because of its weight. So as we slide it to this point, one of the easiest is actually to roll it over. Now very carefully bring it down and roll it like this. And obviously discard this box. Now as we carefully slide it back over, I'm going to tip it up for a moment and show you one of the things that Macintosh does that's kind of unique. They reinforce the amplifier within the box to ensure it cannot move by using screws or nuts and bolts depending on its size. It's very easy to remove, but obviously we're going to do it quickly by using a tool. So big, long screw, massive washer. Again. And the first thing is we take off that 5mm MDF and reveal the elaborate nature of the cardboard that actually supports the unit. I'll lift this up for a moment so you can see that the feet of this amplifier sit in some preformed holes in the cardboard, and where I removed the bolts sit over here, which are these removable washers. As I pull this away, you'll see that this black plastic washer sort of stays in place, and that allows the screw to tighten on the cardboard but not flatten it, and of course do its job properly. So brilliant to see that Macintosh has spent so much time ensuring that the packaging means this product reaches you perfectly. Okay, little nick on the last piece of sellotape helps us open up this oversized plastic bag. And as I pull it over a little bit and then roll this amplifier, you'll get to see some of the physical size of it before we reveal it for the first time. Now, in the bag, before I get rid of it, is a desiccant, obviously moisture resistance, and the big oversized bag. Now, spinning it around, having a look. Firstly, before I have a look specifically at the front, I want to lift this up so you can all have a really, really good look. Firstly, it's relatively deep. Part of the circuit topography in the build means that the power transformer and autoformer output transformers sit in the front chassis. It's where a significant amount of the weight of the amplifier is, and hence why the rest of it starts to push backwards depth-wise. At 100 watts a channel, the amplification is relatively large, which takes up this subsection. You will see at a glance, and please hang around for some photographs later, that Macintosh has introduced their sort of signature emblem and logo into the heatsink. It's a lovely, classy way of them sort of keeping that look and thing of Macintosh even at a glance. Okay. Now, looking at it from the front, lift this up so we can have a look. Firstly, it's very, very simple. This amplifier simply has two knobs. Each are a rotary encoder, which allows you to go into the setup and other things along those lines. But rather than tarnishing the front with many additional knobs, dials and buttons, they've kept the design very simple. Over this side we have the input selection, and you can push and hold to go into setup and trim settings on it. And over this side we've got the volume control. Each feels slightly different. This one is a rotary encoder and you have a feeling of sort of a click 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 in the background, whereas this is a traditional rotary encoder with no feedback in it. Obviously along the front we have Macintosh's classic VU meters. Now these are iconic to Macintosh, and again, hang around for some of the photographs. I'll plug the power cord in here, we'll illuminate them and you'll get a really good look at what these are like. As we move along, we've got the headphone output. Macintosh hasn't scrimped on any element of this amplifier, and the headphone output is actually renowned as being extremely good. So the value in this already is exceptional from a sound quality, but to have such a good headphone output is unusual, and it's lovely to see Macintosh does it so well. In the centre, underneath Macintosh's illuminated logo, is a two-line dot matrix display. You can adjust the brightness and other things of that, and you can go into the setup and actually name and allocate inputs as well. The main red button over here, of course, is its on and off. This is a standby. Commonly pushing and holding will reset the unit back to a factory state. Then over here, again the volume control, and it gives you the ability to adjust the settings that you've gone into by pushing and holding the input. Lastly, of course, the second VU meter for the other channel. Again, raising it up for a moment to remind you about how beautiful and deep this product is before spinning it around so that we can have a look at the side. Again, that Macintosh logo in the heatsink is beautiful to see. And again, hang around for the photographs. I'll try and get an angle inside so that you can see the quality of the amplification and the circuit topography. Spinning it around to the back, we start to look at how well appointed it is despite this relatively cheap price point. Over here, the boring stuff, power. Okay, power and fuse input and IEC obviously marries up with the power cord. As we wander along the bottom, we've got the ability to remove the bridging clips for both pre-in and pre-out. You've got 4 analog inputs, and it's worth noting that the 4th can become a theatre bypass or turn this into a power amplifier with the addition of a trigger from a suitable preamp. It's got a dedicated moving magnet. Yes, moving magnet phono input and an excellent quality ground. There's also a single analog balanced input. Across the top section is some of the things that Macintosh again does so well. This is the D1 DAC module that I mentioned earlier. This is an excellent quality product, and it's good to see that it's got not only 2 coax but 2 optical digital inputs to choose from as well. The USB that is here is asynchronous, and the drivers are really easy to install. Worst case scenario, go to Macintosh, download them there. The next USB port is for services purposes only. Software update, diagnostics, that type of thing. Although it is identical in look to the USB that's part of the DAC, this is not for the purposes of anything to do with inputs or sound. These are the triggers and control that I touched on, and this gives you the ability for it to control the CD players or other products, or at least turn things on and off that you may or may not require. Obviously, we've got both left and right channel outputs, and unlike many of the larger Macintosh amplifiers which have many taps off their autoformer output transformer, the physical size of this limits that option, and so there's just a single set, positive and minus, for both left and right channel. Okay. So, spinning this around, it is wonderful to have this beautiful baby amplifier, the brand new McIntosh MA5300 integrated amplifier, unboxed here at the Listening Post, Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.